They came in their hundreds to dig and to watch. For one weekend, Cheadle Green became the site of an archaeological dig as part of the celebration of its creation by Act of Parliament 200 years ago. The green is soon to be refurbished, so this was an opportunity to search for the foundations of the hall that once stood here.
It's said to have been built in 1756 by Thomas Egerton, who was the rector of Cheadle in those days. But in actual fact, looking at the early documents and deeds, it appeared to be standing already. We don't know what the house looked like in those days, but 20 years later it was rebuilt and extended, so we imagine the photographs we can see remaining today are probably something like it was in 1773.
Strangely, it was never a gentleman's residence for very long. By the 1830s, it was being used as a finishing school for girls of wealthy families. 30 years later, it became a convalescent hospital, before being bought by Sir James Watts of the nearby Abney Hall. When he died, it passed to his son, who added a massive extension and lived there for a few years. He was an avid collector and furnished it lavishly. In the last century, the hall served as a base for the Milk Marketing Board, and then as a storage depot for a furniture removals firm.
But sadly, its condition had been deteriorating for many years, and by 1958, when the council were in possession of it, they had little option but to demolish it. But luckily they added the grounds to the green, which has been good for Cheadle.
About 2 years ago I gave a talk about Cheadle's archaeology to the Civic Society, and afterwards the point was raised that the green was coming up for its 200th anniversary. And working with the Friends of Cheadle Green and the Stockport Borough Council, we thought, wouldn't it be nice if we could mark the occasion with an archaeological dig to discover the foundations of the hall as part of the celebration.
So we've contacted the Greater Manchester Archaeological Unit and brought the professionals in. We certainly couldn't do this sort of work, so we brought the professionals in.
I'm a professional archaeologist from the University of Salford, the Centre of Applied Archaeology, and I've got a colleague, Sarah, who's going to be helping me out. What we hope to do is find some of the remains of the hall. We're opening a number of trenches, at least 3, one of which is going to go right across the older part of the hall, and we're going to put a trench across the absolute southern end of the hall, where we can see there's a nice bay window on the plans and the maps. And we're really here just to supervise and to help people out and show them how to do an archaeological excavation. The vast majority of the work, the hard work, is going to be done by a number of volunteers, and 2 of the trenches are going to be given over to these volunteers who are from various different societies, local societies. One of them called SMART, South Manchester Archaeological Research Team, and they will be doing the actual archaeological work and recording what we find. We're hoping that people will want to have a go, and we're opening this 3rd trench for them to come along and have a go.
Saturday dawned fine with a light showers forecast, and while the society set up the displays, the archaeologists began their digging in both trenches. A new volunteer arrived and was quickly briefed on the day's activities.
So this trench here has been put in to see if we can get a section across the building here. So hopefully they're working in an area that's already been sort of designated as probable cellars. So the building should be coming along here. We think this is perhaps a floor surface, and somewhere around here we should be finding this far wall. The other trench over there, we're just finding this part of the gable end, this nice curved bay. We had a bit of fun with that yesterday, and we put the trench in the right place, but it's all behind it.
By 10 o'clock, members of the public began to arrive, some with special reasons for a visit.
I was the caretaker of the institute until it closed here.
My ancestors lived in Cheadle from 1801 as weavers, and the dig they are doing here today is of my kinsman's ancient hall.
Well, I've always been interested in archaeology, but never been able to go on a dig because I was working full time.
I like finding things that you think somebody maybe 100 years ago or something was the last person to touch, and it puts you in touch with history in a way.
You can get carried away down a hole, away from all the troubles of life.
This is Robert Who's.
I'm the rector at St Mary's. We're open up the road for the other heritage.
We have been guiding people in your general direction.
This is the historic environment record. At the moment we're focused upon Cheadle Green, and what we can do with this record is overlay historic maps. If I go in a little bit so it's a bit clearer, you can see Cheadle Hall, and at that stage in its career it was a temporary convalescent hospital.
So I can take you around and show you what we've found so far.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll come as well, make it a group. Where the kids are, you see that linear feature, which appears to be a drain. Our concern is, given the curve on this bay, which runs all the way around there, the drain's actually on the inside of the property. It's a stone drain, which usually indicates it's a fairly early drain. How early, we don't know. We've not had any significant finds in there to suggest how early that actually is. Given 1756 as the earliest period, we suspect it was put in at that time. For what reason, we don't know. In addition, the drain slopes both ways. So it slopes back into the house and away from the property. Well, this is a bay window. I mean, you've seen from the photographs through there, there's a lovely bay window here. This is the south end of the actual hall itself. I suspect that one of the additional pieces of building was found on the inside, which is just under Kirsty's feet. This wall here, it's not keyed into the outer wall. We suspect, well, my idea is it's where the owner of the property at the time sat and waited to watch for the pubs opening across the way. It's probably a window seat. We don't know it's a window seat. It's probably a window seat. Moving on to that, and the bay window. This is a bay, as I said, was a part of the original building. We've got a line of headers, or header-laid bricks. That means the bricks are laid in that direction, so you can see the head of it. On the inside of the wall, there's 3 courses of stretcher-laid bricks which run on the outside of the wall. And obviously, given the curve you can see on this, it was a huge bay window that went off and over and under there. None of these trees would have existed at the time because basically they would have been inside the house. By 1897, James Watt, who lived here, actually built an extension onto the building, obviously in the Victorian period. A lot of the finds we've had are all of the Victorian period. The tiles we have through there that look medieval. Sadly, when you turn them over, they're clearly Victorian and much more modern.
During the course of the morning, local councillor Ian Roberts looked in to view progress.
Absolutely fantastic. Cheadle's changed an awful lot in the last century, so it'll be fascinating to see everything that's going on.
Later, busy Parliamentary MP Mark Hunter found time to visit and chat to the volunteers.
The body, which is the clay base, is terracotta. Under the decoration, it's white. So what used to happen was that some of the clay was removed, white clay was put in, but then the glaze, which is an iron glaze, goes straight over the top. But it reacts differently, of course. Over white, it goes yellow, and over...
Right, yeah.
Because I was a potter, you see.
No, I always take expert advice.
Speaking with some authority. I think this is a really excellent example of community archaeology, and it's a really good local project, and it's great to see so many people, including the Civic Society, of course, whom it couldn't have happened without, involved in today's activities.
Children dominated the third trench, and they soon proved that finds were not confined to the 2 main trenches.
That's nice. Tile that.
Found another bit.
Boring bit of glass.
So you can be quite firm with it. And grass. So you're actually excavating a very big old house. Wow.
Well, I think it's more about electricity.
Lots more of this, and this is quite thick glass coming out. We've had that all day. And some thinner glass as well. So nice to have the range of glass from the one side.
There had been a few short showers throughout the day, but that did little to dampen enthusiasm. By 4 o'clock, however, the skies darkened. and heavy rain brought proceedings to an end. Sunday's weather was much better, and more visitors arrived as volunteer archaeologists continued their excavations. In Trench 1, the search for wall foundations was hampered by the rubble dropped into the area when the hall was demolished. Nonetheless, important sections were uncovered and helped determine the exact location of the building. In Trench 2, it was decided to dig downwards to try and establish the base of the walls revealed yesterday. One of the pits would prove to be particularly exciting.
As I've gone down, opposed to finding the floor, we've actually managed to find a vault underneath the bay window.
This is not what we expected. It's absolutely fantastic to find something like this. So what we'll do is we'll remove this large stone later on, dig down as far as we can. We know it's a good metre down, there's some more spoil at the bottom. Underneath this stone is a hollow, it's a void underneath. So it shouldn't take too long to clear this out. I think that'll be the high spot, the actual dig itself, to be perfectly honest. All we need then is to find another wall in Trench 1 to link in this wall that we found here. And then we're cooking on gas, I think.
We found an archway over there. I think this is probably another one that joins up, well not joins up, be next to it. But obviously I'll have to dig down and find out where it goes, which is going to be good. Glad I found it.
Tours of the site continued to be popular and, with more discoveries being made, needed more guides to explain progress.
It's only when the hall was demolished in 1958 that they extended the green to incorporate what used to be the gardens of this house.
I've got distracted now because Kirsty's just digging out here, almost a complete plot. It's archaeology in action, you can't ask for anything better. Kirsty's known as the treasure hunter. It's actually got a little bit of pattern on as well. The thing about that is if we can date that pot, we can date what that material is in there, we can date when that material went in. So that'll be great. You may think, well, what's going on here? We've got the curve. Originally the wall would have gone straight through there, going that way. And I think that's what that wall is, the remains of it. But what's that wall going off it? If you remember, we went back to James Watt, 1880s, between 1880 and 1890, put an extension on that side of it. And there's the extension, so we've got the round wall, a little bit of a straight wall, and then into the Victorian stuff. And that's that little connection between the Georgian wall and the Victorian wall. And you can see it's very roughly done. It's not even keyed in, it's just banged straight up against it. And if you look at the bricks, they're a bit wavy and a bit rough, not exactly cut straight, but they're quite a big brick. If you look at these bricks here, they're a bit more rough and ready, all different colours. It immediately tells me, because of the sizes as well, it tells me that those bricks are older than those bricks. So again, more evidence to say Georgian, Victorian. Yeah? And that all fits in with our little story and the maps and the research. The other thing that we like to do, because we've got this connection now, we know how it's built and how they put it together. What we like to know is we always like to know how deep it goes, because that's the beginning of the story, yeah? So what we do, archaeologically, we open up a small area to go down to try and find, what to do is find the bottom of the wall. Thinking 3, maybe 4 bricks deep, and that's where it started. We're now down to about 12 or 13 bricks deep. I can't go any further because it's getting dangerous. People's heads are below, they might hurt themselves. So I've had to stop there, and we've run out of time as well. But what we've got is this strange arch opening, and a dip in the wall there that takes it back, and another wall coming through here. What we've got is cellarage. You know, it's got a basement cellar. Just one last thing while we're in this trend. It may look like chaos, and it is chaos, but everybody's loving it. What we've done is we've cordoned off a little area so that anybody who wants to, no, it wasn't particularly for kids, it's for kids and adults as well. And Dad's in there having fun, look. So, a lovely opportunity to do your own heritage. Yeah, it's been brilliant, I've really loved this bit. What we'll do is we'll move over to the far corner and we'll carry on with the other trench.
Beautiful.
That's a little bit different. We've got rough and ready bricks thrown in there, but they're all flat. It could be a floor surface. And we've got another little wall running that way. Right in the end there's a brick wall, and coming right angles this way is another brick wall. I think that brick wall is the frontage, the western elevation of the big Georgian house. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. The only problem is we've got a wall coming this way as well. That's about 60-70 metres deep, that hole, and that little dividing wall that's coming through is a dividing wall in the cellar, and possibly as a support wall for the floor and the building itself on the inside. That's more or less what I've got to tell you about the archaeology. But what's happened just over these 2 days, the survivability of the archaeology and the history and the importance of that history, it's got people thinking, and they're thinking about revising their plans. In that right-hand gazebo, it's their plans for what they're going to do to the greens. But they may think about revising it by putting in a footprint of the building, not leaving it exposed, but knowing where the walls are now, put a little trench where the walls are, pack it with limestone, crushed limestone, sandstone, so you've actually got a nice clear outline and a few notice boards telling you the history and condensing that down onto a board so you can read it. So there's some record there.
As well as excavating, it was equally important to photograph and record the findings.
We need the outline obviously, and also what's going on inside as much as you can see really.
There we are, that's the plan of this trench, drawn at 1:20 scales. The other stuff I've noted is things like where we've got demolition rubble or brick rubble, or where we've got a change, where we've got mixed clay and mortar in one area, or mixed clay and silt in the other. So I've noted not only the changes in the bricks, the different levels of the walls as well, that's delineated by the thick lines, and then these small arrows here tell us how deep and how sharp the edge is. So this is Phil's hole that he's been exploring over there, where he is. So we've drawn on the size of his hole. Unfortunately he's not found anything in it, just brick rubble at the moment. But this shows that we've got very steep edges going down, so we know it's quite a deep cut. Whereas where the floor area is, we've got a sloping area where we've excavated. That's why the lines are a little bit longer. Yeah, so that's going to be the record of this trench and everything we found in it.
So can I ask you to gradually make your way out? And as I say, thank you for coming. It's been fantastic. Everybody seems to have enjoyed themselves amazingly well. But we have got homes to go to. And I'm to you.
I think I can say that we're more than exceeded our expectations. We've found part of that curving apsidal window on bow frontage. We found where the Victorian extension fitted onto the earlier Georgian building, and earlier on today we actually started to dig down on the inside of the bow window. What we found was a nice arched opening, and it suggested that there was a cellar in there, and I've got to say it's been a joy for me. I think I would have been one of the volunteers if I hadn't been the professional in charge of it.
Next day, all that remained was to complete the record of the dig and to backfill the trenches, covering the hole again, perhaps forever.